Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Have you ever made a mistake and felt like you just wanted to hide? Maybe you said something wrong in English and felt so embarrassed. I've been there too. What if I told you that every mistake you make is like a secret key to success? Let me tell you a quick story. When I was learning English, I was so hungry one day, and I told my friends, "I'm so hungry I could eat a house." I meant to say horse, but I got it all wrong. Everyone burst out laughing, and my face turned red. But you know what? That silly mistake taught me something amazing about learning. Want to know how your mistakes can help you become great at English and so much more? Stay with me, because today we're jumping into 6 super easy lessons that will make you love your mistakes and see them as your best friends on the road to success. Chapter 1. Mistakes are your best teachers. Hello everyone. Let's dive into our first big lesson today. Mistakes are your best teachers. I know. When you make a mistake, it feels like the world is ending. Maybe you said something wrong in English, and everyone looked at you funny. Trust me, I've been there, and I'm here to tell you that mistakes are not your enemies. They're like friendly teachers who help you learn and grow, especially when you're learning English. Today I'm going to share a super funny story about a mistake I made, give you some easy tips to use your mistakes, and show you why even the best people in the world mess up sometimes. So, let's get started and make friends with our mistakes. First, let's talk about why mistakes are so important. When you make a mistake, it's like a little sign that says, "Hey, you're trying something new." That's a good thing. Every time you try to speak, write, or understand English, you're stretching your brain, and mistakes show you where you need to practice more. For example, if you say, "I go to school yesterday," instead of "I went," that mistake tells you to practice past tense. It's like a map pointing you to the right path. Without mistakes, you'd never know what to improve. I used to think mistakes meant I was bad at English, but now I see them as helpers. They're like little lights showing me the way to get better. Let me tell you a story about a mistake I made when I was learning English. It's so funny. I still laugh when I think about it. I was in an English class, and we were talking about our favorite places. I wanted to say, "I love the beach because it's so relaxing." But instead I said, "I love the bitch." Oh no. My face turned as red as a tomato. Everyone burst out laughing, and I wanted to disappear. I didn't know that beach and bitch sounded so close, but meant totally different things. My teacher was kind, though. She explained the difference, and we practiced saying beach over and over. That mistake was embarrassing, but it taught me how to pronounce words carefully. Now, I always double-check words that sound similar, and I'm much better at speaking. That silly mistake became my teacher, and I'm so grateful for it. Now you might be thinking, "Okay, but mistakes still feel bad." I get it. Nobody likes feeling embarrassed. But here's something surprising. Even native English speakers make mistakes all the time. Did you know that? People who grew up speaking English still mix up words, forget grammar rules, or say things wrong. Once, I heard a native speaker say, "I seen that movie," instead of "I've seen." Even they mess up. And famous people, like writers, actors, and teachers, made tons of mistakes before they became successful. For example, Walt Disney, the man who created Mickey Mouse, was told he wasn't creative enough. Can you believe that? His mistakes and failures helped him learn and keep going. So, if even the best people make mistakes, why should we be afraid of them? Let's talk about how mistakes help you grow in English. When you make a grammar mistake like saying, "she don't like it," instead of "she doesn't," it's a chance to learn the right rule. When you use the wrong word, like saying kitchen instead of chicken, it helps you remember the right one next time. And when you mispronounce something, like my beach story, it teaches you how to say words clearly. Every mistake is like a puzzle piece that makes your English picture stronger and clearer. The more mistakes you make, the more pieces you collect, and soon you'll have a beautiful picture of English skills. Here's a simple tip to make your mistakes work for you. Write them down. I used to carry a small notebook, and every time I made a mistake, I wrote it down. For example, if I said, "I have 2 cat" instead of cats, I'd write the mistake and the correct sentence. Then, I'd practice the right way a few times. It's like fixing a broken toy. You see what's wrong and you make it better. You can also ask your teacher or a friend to explain your mistake. One time I wrote down, "I'm exciting" instead of "I'm excited," and my friend told me the difference. Writing it down helped me remember forever. Try this, and you'll see your mistakes turn into lessons. Another tip is to practice fixing your mistakes. Let's say you keep forgetting to add S to plural nouns, like saying book instead of books. Practice saying sentences with plurals like, "I have 3 books," or "the dogs are big." Say them out loud every day, and soon it'll feel natural. Or, if you mix up words like big and large, try using them in sentences. For example, "The big house is beautiful, and the large tree is green." The more you practice, the fewer mistakes you'll make. It's like learning to ride a bike. You fall a few times, but each fall teaches you how to balance better. Here's a fun mini challenge for you to try today. Say a new English word out loud, even if you're not sure how to pronounce it. Pick a word like wonderful or adventure. Say it to a friend, a family member, or even to yourself in the mirror. Don't worry if you get it wrong. If you mess up, laugh and try again. This challenge is all about being brave and letting mistakes teach you. I remember trying to say delicious for the first time. I said delicious instead of delicious, but I kept practicing, and now I love that word. Give it a try, and let your mistakes make you stronger. One more thing, mistakes are okay because they mean you're learning. When I was a beginner, I was so scared to speak English because I thought everyone would judge my mistakes. But then I realized that every mistake was a step toward getting better. Each time I said something wrong, I learned a new word, a new rule, or a new way to say something. Mistakes are like seeds you plant in a garden. At first, they don't look like much, but with time, they grow into beautiful flowers. Your English journey is the same way. Every mistake is a seed that helps your skills grow. So, let's make a promise today. We're not going to be afraid of mistakes. We're going to hug them, laugh at them, and learn from them. They're our best teachers, guiding us to success in English and beyond. I used to feel so shy about my mistakes, but now I'm proud of them because they made me who I am today. You can do this too. Keep trying, keep making mistakes, and watch how they turn you into a stronger English learner. Chapter 2. Don't be afraid to fail. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our journey of turning mistakes into success. In Chapter 1, we learned that mistakes are our best teachers, helping us grow stronger in English. But sometimes, even knowing that, we still feel scared to make mistakes. Today, in Chapter 2, we're going to talk about something super important. Don't be afraid to fail. I know that fear can make you want to stay quiet or avoid trying new things in English. But trust me, fear is just a little wall, and you can climb over it. I'm going to share a story about a time I was terrified to speak, but pushed through, give you easy tips to be brave, and show you why failing is the key to getting better. So, let's jump in and learn how to be fearless with our mistakes. First, let's talk about why we're so afraid of making mistakes. Have you ever felt your heart race when you had to speak English in front of others? Maybe you worried people would laugh, or you thought, what if I sound silly? I used to feel that way all the time. We fear mistakes because we don't want to feel embarrassed or look like we're not good enough. It's like standing on a stage and thinking everyone is judging you. But here's the truth. Most people don't care about your mistakes. They're just happy you're trying. And even if someone laughs, it's usually because they've made mistakes too. That fear is just a feeling, and you can beat it by taking small steps and being kind to yourself. Let me tell you a story about a time I was so scared to fail. When I was learning English, my teacher asked me to join a group discussion with other students. We had to talk about our favorite foods, and I was so nervous. I thought, what if I say something wrong? What if everyone thinks I'm bad at English? My hands were shaking, and I wanted to run out of the room, but I took a deep breath and decided to try. I said, I like to eat chicken because it's, deliciously. I meant to say delicious, but I messed up, and the word came out all wrong. A few people giggled, and I felt my face get hot. But then, something amazing happened. One student said, I love chicken too, and we started talking. My mistake didn't stop the conversation. It made it better. That day, I learned that speaking, even with mistakes, was worth it. I felt so proud for trying, and it gave me the courage to keep going. Now, you might be wondering, why is it so important to not be afraid? Here's the big reason. If you're scared to make mistakes, you'll stop trying, and if you stop trying, you'll never get better. It's like learning to ride a bike. When you first try, you fall off a few times. If you're too scared to fall, you'll never learn to ride. English is the same way. If you don't speak because you're afraid of saying the wrong word, you'll never practice speaking. If you don't write because you're worried about grammar, you'll never get better at writing. Every time you avoid a mistake, you miss a chance to learn. But when you're brave and try, even if you fail, you're moving closer to success. Here's a surprising example to inspire you. Did you know that J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, was rejected by 12 publishers before her book was accepted. 12 times. People told her she wasn't good enough, but she kept trying. Her failures didn't stop her. They made her stronger. Today, her books are loved by millions. If she had been afraid to fail, we wouldn't have Harry Potter. So if someone as amazing as J.K. Rowling can face failure, you can too. Your English mistakes are just tiny bumps on the road to your own success. Let's talk about some easy tips to help you stop being afraid of failing. First, start small. You don't have to give a big speech in English right away. Try saying one sentence today like, I like to drink coffee. Say it to a friend, a family member, or even your pet. If you make a mistake, it's okay. Just try again. Starting small makes it less scary. I used to practice saying simple sentences in my room like, the sun is bright. It felt safe, and it built my courage. Another tip is to laugh at your mistakes. When I said deliciously in that group, I laughed with everyone else. Laughing made it fun, not embarrassing. Try it. When you mess up, smile and say, oops, that was funny. It changes everything. Another great tip is to find supportive people to practice with. Talk to friends who encourage you or join an English learning group online. When I was scared to speak, I found a friend who was also learning English. We practiced together, and she never judged my mistakes. She'd say, that's okay, let's try it again. Having someone kind makes failing feel safe. You can also tell yourself, mistakes are okay. Before I speak English now, I think, it's fine if I mess up. I'm learning. This little thought helps me be brave. And here's a fun idea. Treat mistakes like a game. Every time you make a mistake, give yourself a point and say, one more lesson learned. It makes failing feel exciting. Let me share a quick quote that I love. The only real mistake is the one you don't learn from. Isn't that powerful? Every time you fail, you're learning something new, so it's not really a failure at all. Keep this quote in your mind when you feel scared. It's like a little hug from someone saying, you've got this. I used to repeat this to myself when I felt nervous, and it helped me keep going. Here's a mini challenge for you to try today. Think about one mistake you're afraid to make in English. Maybe it's speaking in front of others, writing a sentence, or pronouncing a hard word like comfortable. Now, I want you to share it in the comments below. Write, I'm afraid to make this mistake. Your mistake. For example, I'm afraid to make this mistake. Saying tha sounds wrong. Sharing it is a brave step, and it'll inspire others too. I'll read every comment, and I can't wait to see your courage. This challenge is all about facing your fear and saying, I'm not afraid to fail. One last thing. Failing is temporary, but giving up is forever. Every time you make a mistake and keep going, you're building a stronger, braver you. I used to stay quiet because I was scared, but now I talk in English every day, and it's because I wasn't afraid to fail. You can do this too. Your mistakes are like stepping stones across a river. Each one gets you closer to the other side, where success is waiting. Chapter 3. How to learn from your English mistakes. Hello everyone. Welcome back to our amazing journey of turning mistakes into success. In Chapter 2, We learned how to stop being afraid of failing and to be brave with our English mistakes. Now that you're ready to jump in and try, let's take it one step further. Today, in Chapter 3, we're going to talk about how to learn from your English mistakes. Mistakes are like little clues that show you how to get better, but you need to know how to use them. I'm going to share a story about my mistake notebook that changed how I learned, give you easy steps to turn mistakes into lessons, and show you a fun way to practice. So let's grab those mistakes and make them work for us. First, let's talk about why learning from mistakes is so important. When you make a mistake, it's like a teacher waving a flag and saying, "Hey, look here. This is where you can improve." But if you just feel embarrassed and move on, you miss the lesson. Learning from mistakes means figuring out what went wrong and how to fix it. For example, if you say, "I have 2 dogs" instead of dogs, that mistake is telling you to practice plural nouns. By paying attention to it, you can make your English stronger. I used to ignore my mistakes because they made me feel bad, but then I realized they were like treasure maps leading me to better English. Let's learn how to follow those maps. Let me tell you a story about how I started learning from my mistakes. When I was a beginner, I made so many errors in English, and I kept forgetting what I did wrong. One day, my teacher suggested keeping a mistake notebook. I thought, a notebook just for mistakes? That's weird. But I gave it a try. I bought a small, colorful notebook, and every time I made a mistake, I wrote it down. Once, I wrote, "I go to school yesterday," and felt so silly. I showed it to my teacher, and she explained that go should be went for the past tense. I wrote the correct sentence, "I went to school yesterday," and practiced it 5 times. That notebook became my best friend. Every week I'd look at my mistakes and practice fixing them. Slowly, I stopped making the same errors, and my English got better. That little notebook turned my mistakes into lessons, and I still smile when I think about it. So, how do you learn from your mistakes? Here are 3 easy steps. Step 1. Notice the mistake. Sometimes you might not even know you made an error. You can ask a teacher or friend to point it out, or try recording yourself speaking English. For example, say, "My favorite food is pizza," and listen back. You might hear that you said pizza instead of pizza. Step 2. Understand why it happened. If you said, "I go yesterday," ask yourself, why is this wrong? Maybe you forgot the past tense rule. Look it up or ask someone to explain. Step 3. Practice the correct way. Write the right sentence like "I went yesterday" and say it out loud a few times. Practice it in different sentences like "I went to the park." These steps are like fixing a puzzle. You find the wrong piece, figure out why it doesn't fit, and put the right one in. Let's look at some examples of mistakes you might make in English. For grammar, maybe you say, "She don't like it," instead of "she doesn't like it." That's a common mistake. Write it down, learn that doesn't is for she, and practice sentences like, "She doesn't like coffee." For pronunciation, you might struggle with the thia sound, saying tink instead of think. I used to do that too. Practice by putting your tongue between your teeth and blowing air, like think. For vocabulary, maybe you say kitchen instead of chicken in a restaurant. That's so easy to mix up. Write down both words, learn their meanings, and practice saying, "I want chicken, not a kitchen." These examples show how every mistake is a chance to learn something new. Here's a beginner-friendly tip. Use tools like Grammarly to spot mistakes in your writing. Grammarly is an app that checks your sentences and tells you what's wrong. For example, if you write, "I has a cat," it'll suggest, "I have a cat." It's like having a teacher in your pocket. I started using Grammarly when I was learning, and it helped me fix so many mistakes. Another tip is to watch English videos with subtitles. You'll see the correct words and hear how they're said. I used to watch cartoons with subtitles, and it helped me notice when I said words wrong. These tools make learning from mistakes so much easier. Let's try a fun activity to help you learn from your mistakes. Grab your phone or a recorder and say this sentence. "The big dog runs fast." Record yourself, then listen back. Did you say big clearly, or did it sound like pig? Did you say runs or run? If you spot a mistake, write it down and practice the correct way 3 times. For example, if you said run, practice "the dog runs." This activity is like a game. You're a detective finding clues to better English. I used to record myself reading stories, and it helped me hear my mistakes. Give it a try, and you'll be amazed at how much you learn. Here's a quick demo to make it fun. Let's fix the th sound together. A lot of learners say tink instead of think. Watch me. Put your tongue between your teeth, blow air, and say think. Try it with me now. Say think out loud. If it sounds wrong, laugh and try again. Practice with this sentence. I think the sky is blue. Say it 5 times and you'll get better. I struggled with "th" for so long, but this trick helped me. And now I love saying think. This demo shows how easy it is to turn a mistake into a win. One more tip: be patient with yourself. Learning from mistakes takes time. You might fix one error, like saying dogs instead of dog, but then make a new one. That's okay. It's like planting a garden. Each mistake you fix is a seed that grows into a beautiful flower. When I started my mistake notebook, I had pages full of errors, but slowly, the pages got shorter because I learned. Keep going, and your mistakes will get smaller too. So, let's make a promise today. We're going to notice our mistakes, understand them, and practice fixing them. They're not just errors, they're lessons that make us better. My mistake notebook helped me so much, and I know you can do this too. Keep trying, and watch how your English grows stronger every day. Chapter 4. Mistakes Build Your Confidence. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our exciting journey of turning mistakes into success. In Chapter 3, we learned how to spot our English mistakes, understand them, and practice fixing them. Now that you know how to make mistakes work for you, let's talk about something even more amazing in Chapter 4. How mistakes build your confidence. I know it sounds strange. How can messing up make you feel braver? But trust me, every mistake you survive is like a little badge of courage. Today, I'm going to share a story about a time I stumbled through a presentation, give you easy tips to feel more confident, and help you imagine a future where you shine in English. So let's jump in and see how mistakes can make you bold. First, let's talk about why mistakes help you feel confident. When you make a mistake and keep going, it's like climbing a small hill. Each step feels hard, but when you reach the top, you feel so proud. Every time you say a wrong word or mix up grammar and still try again, you're proving to yourself that you're brave. That bravery turns into confidence. For example, if you say, "I like to swimming," instead of "I like to swim," and you fix it, you feel good about learning something new. The more mistakes you make and survive, the more you believe in yourself. I used to think mistakes made me weak, but now I know they're like weights that make my confidence muscle stronger. Let me tell you a story about a time I felt so nervous but learned to be confident through mistakes. When I was learning English, my teacher asked me to give a short presentation about my favorite hobby. I chose reading books, but I was terrified. I practiced for days, but when I stood in front of the class, my mind went blank. I started saying, "I like books because they are, interest." I meant interesting, but I froze, and everyone was staring. I felt like running away, but I took a deep breath and kept going. I said, "Books make me happy because they have stories." It wasn't perfect, and I made more mistakes, like saying I readed instead of I read. But when I finished, the class clapped and my teacher said, "Great job for trying." That moment was huge for me. I realized that even with mistakes, I did it. That presentation gave me so much confidence, and now I love speaking English, even if I mess up sometimes. You might be thinking, but mistakes make me feel shy, not confident. I totally get it. It's normal to feel nervous when you mess up. But here's the secret. Every mistake you make shows you're stronger than you think. When you survive an embarrassing moment, like saying the wrong word, you realize it's not the end of the world. That makes you braver next time. Confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about knowing you can try again no matter what. I used to be so shy, but every mistake I made, like in that presentation, built a little more courage in me. You can do this too. Here's an analogy I love. Confidence is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. Mistakes are like the weights you lift. Each time you make a mistake and keep going, you're lifting that weight, and your confidence muscle grows. For example, if you practice saying, "I have 2 cats," even if you say cat at first, you're exercising your speaking muscle. The more you practice through mistakes, the more confident you'll feel. I think of my mistakes as little workouts that made my English confidence super strong. Try it, and you'll feel your confidence grow too. Let's talk about some easy tips to build confidence through mistakes. First, celebrate small successes. Every time you fix a mistake or try something new, give yourself a cheer. For example, if you learn to say dogs instead of dog, treat yourself to something fun, like watching a favorite cartoon. I used to celebrate by eating a piece of chocolate every time I learned a new word correctly. It made learning feel like a party. Another tip is to practice in safe spaces. Talk to a kind friend, a family member, or even your pet. They won't judge your mistakes, and it'll help you feel braver. I practiced English with my little brother, and he'd laugh with me, not at me. It was so fun, and it made me less scared. Another great tip is to track your progress. Write down one thing you did well each day, like I said thank you correctly, or I wrote a sentence with no mistakes. Look back at your list every week, and you'll see how far you've come. I kept a small journal of my English wins, and it made me so proud to see my progress. Also, remind yourself that mistakes are okay. Before you speak or write, say to yourself, "It's fine if I mess up. I'm learning." This little thought helped me feel confident, even when I wasn't perfect. Here's a vision to inspire you. Imagine yourself 1 year from now, speaking English with confidence. You're chatting with friends, telling stories, and laughing about the mistakes you used to make. Maybe you're ordering food in English at a restaurant or watching a movie without subtitles. That future is possible, and every mistake you make today is a step toward it. I used to dream of speaking English without fear, and now I'm living that dream because I let mistakes build my confidence. You can get there too, one mistake at a time. Let's try a fun challenge to boost your confidence. In the comments below, share one mistake that made you stronger. For example, I said kitchen instead of chicken, but it taught me to check my words. Write, "This mistake made me stronger." Your mistake. Sharing your story is a brave step, and it'll inspire others. I'll read every comment, and I can't wait to hear how your mistakes are building your confidence. I remember sharing my readed mistake with a friend, and it felt so good to laugh about it. Give it a try, and let's cheer each other on. One last thing. Confidence from mistakes opens so many doors. When you're not afraid to mess up, you'll talk more, write more, and learn faster. That confidence can help you make new friends, get better grades, or even find a job. I never thought I'd be making YouTube videos in English, but my mistakes gave me the courage to try. Your mistakes are doing the same for you. They're building a confident, amazing you. Chapter 5. Keep going, even when it's hard. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our wonderful journey of turning mistakes into success. In Chapter 4, we learned how mistakes build your confidence, making you braver every time you try. But sometimes, even with confidence, learning English can feel so hard. You make mistake after mistake, and you might want to give up. That's why, in Chapter 5, we're going to talk about something super important. Keep going, even when it's hard. I'm going to share a story about how I struggled with English but kept pushing through, give you easy tips to stay strong, and show you why persistence is the key to success. So let's dive in and learn how to never give up on our English dreams. First, let's talk about why persistence is so important. Learning English is like climbing a mountain. The path is full of rocks, and sometimes you slip or fall. That's your mistakes. But if you keep climbing, even when it's tough, you'll reach the top and see a beautiful view. Every mistake you make is just a rock on the path, and every time you try again, you're taking another step up. Persistence means not stopping, even when you feel tired or frustrated. I used to think I'd never get good at English because I made so many mistakes, but I learned that keeping going, no matter what, is what makes you better. If you stop, you stay at the bottom of the mountain, but if you persist, you'll reach the top. Let me tell you a story about a time I almost gave up on English. When I started learning, I was so excited, but after a few months, it got really hard. I kept forgetting words, mixing up grammar and sounding funny when I spoke. One day, I tried to talk to a shopkeeper in English to buy some fruit. I wanted to say, "Can I have 2 apples, please?" But I said, "Can I have 2 apples, please?" The shopkeeper looked confused, and I felt so embarrassed. I went home and thought, English is too hard. I'm never going to get it. I wanted to quit. But then I remembered why I started. I wanted to watch English movies, travel, and make new friends. So I decided to keep going. I studied a little every day, even just one word or sentence. Slowly, I got better. A year later, I went back to that shop and said, "Can I have 2 apples, please?" Perfectly. The shopkeeper smiled, and I felt so proud. That struggle taught me that persistence turns mistakes into success. You might be thinking, but it's so hard to keep going when I keep messing up. I know that feeling. Some days you feel like you're not improving at all. But here's the truth. Every small step counts. Even if you learn one new word or fix one mistake, you're moving forward. Persistence isn't about being perfect. It's about trying again and again. I used to feel sad when I couldn't understand English songs, but I kept listening, and now I sing along. Every time you push through a hard moment, you're building a stronger, smarter you. You're closer to your goal than you think. Here's an inspiring example to motivate you. Did you know that Jackie Chan, the famous actor, struggled to learn English when he started making movies in America? He grew up speaking Chinese, and English was so hard for him. He made tons of mistakes, like mispronouncing words or forgetting lines. But he never gave up. He practiced every day, watched English shows, and worked with coaches. Today, he speaks English in huge movies and inspires millions. If Jackie Chan can persist through mistakes, you can too. Your English journey is like his, full of challenges, but also full of success if you keep going. Let's talk about some easy strategies to help you persist. First, set small goals. You don't have to learn everything at once. Try learning one new phrase each day, like, "I'm happy to see you." Write it down, say it out loud, and use it. Small goals make learning feel easier. I used to set a goal to learn 5 words a week, and it felt like a fun game. Another tip is to take breaks when you feel frustrated. If English feels too hard, step away for a bit. Watch a funny video, eat a snack, or go for a walk. Then come back with fresh energy. I used to take breaks by listening to English music, and it made me excited to learn again. Another great strategy is to remind yourself why you're learning English. Maybe you want to travel, get a better job, or understand your favorite show. Write your reason on a piece of paper and look at it when you feel like quitting. I kept a note that said, "I'm learning English to talk to the world." It helped me stay focused. Also, find a study buddy. Learning with a friend makes it more fun, and you can cheer each other on. My friend and I used to quiz each other on new words, and it kept us both going. These strategies are like little tools to help you climb that mountain, even when it's steep. Here's a mini challenge for you to try today. Learn one new English phrase and use it, even if you mess up. For example, try saying, "It's a beautiful day" to someone. If you make a mistake, laugh and try again. Write in the comments below what phrase you chose, like, my phrase is, "It's a beautiful day." I'll read every comment, and I can't wait to see your persistence. I remember trying to say, "I'm so excited," and saying "exited" instead. I kept practicing, and now it's one of my favorite phrases. Give it a try, and let's keep pushing forward together. One last thing. Persistence through mistakes makes you unstoppable. Every time you keep going, you're telling the world, "I won't give up." That strength will help you in English and in life. I never thought I'd be able to speak English fluently, but my persistence turned my mistakes into a beautiful journey. You're on that same path, and every step you take is proof of your power. Chapter 6. Celebrate your journey of mistakes. Hello everyone. Welcome back to our incredible journey of turning mistakes into success. In Chapter 5, we learned how to keep going even when learning English feels hard by staying persistent through our mistakes. Now we've reached Chapter 6, the final chapter, and it's all about something so joyful, celebrating your journey of mistakes. You've worked so hard, faced your fears, and learned from every error. Today, we're going to talk about why celebrating your mistakes can change your mindset, share a story about a big win I had with English, and give you fun ways to cheer for your progress. Your mistakes are like stars in the sky of your success, and it's time to shine. So, let's dive in and celebrate every step you've taken. First, let's talk about why celebrating mistakes is so powerful. When you make a mistake, it's easy to feel frustrated or think, "I'm not good enough." But what if you looked at that mistake and said, "Wow, I tried something new and that's amazing"? Celebrating mistakes shifts your mindset from fear to joy. It's like turning a rainy day into a party by dancing in the rain. Every mistake you make is proof you're growing, and when you celebrate it, you feel proud instead of scared. This makes you excited to keep learning English. I used to feel bad about my mistakes, but when I started celebrating them, I saw them as little gifts that helped me get better. You can do this too, and it'll make your English journey so much fun. Let me tell you a story about a moment that made me want to celebrate my journey. When I was learning English, one of my biggest dreams was to watch an English movie without subtitles and understand it. I loved animated movies, so I picked Finding Nemo. The first time I tried, it was a disaster. I kept pausing to look up words, and I mixed up things like fin and fish. I felt so lost, and my mistakes made me think I'll never get this. But I didn't give up. I watched it again and again, writing down my mistakes, practicing new words, and listening closely. Each time, I understood a little more. One day, months later, I watched Finding Nemo from start to finish, no subtitles, and I understood almost everything. I laughed at Dory's jokes and even cried a little. I was so proud. All those mistakes, like mixing up words or missing lines, were steps that led me to that moment. I celebrated by dancing around my room, and it felt like a huge victory. That win showed me how far my mistakes had brought me. You might be thinking, how do I celebrate mistakes? They still feel like problems. I hear you. It takes time to see mistakes as something to cheer for. But here's the secret. Every mistake is a milestone. It's like a marker on a road showing how far you've traveled. When you celebrate, you're saying, I'm proud of my journey, mistakes and all. This mindset makes learning English feel like an adventure, not a chore. I used to dread making mistakes, but now I smile when I mess up because I know it's part of my story. You're writing your own story too, and every mistake is a beautiful chapter. Let's talk about some fun ways to celebrate your journey of mistakes. First, reward yourself for trying. Every time you make a mistake and learn from it, do something you love. For example, if you practice a new phrase and mess up but try again, watch an episode of your favorite show or eat a yummy snack. I used to reward myself with ice cream after fixing a grammar mistake, and it made learning feel like a treat. Another idea is to keep a progress journal. Write down one thing you learned each week, like I said dogs instead of dog, or I pronounced think correctly. Look back at your journal every month, and you'll be amazed at how much you've grown. I kept a journal, and reading it felt like flipping through a book of my victories. Another great way to celebrate is to share your progress with others. Tell a friend or family member about a mistake you learned from, like, I said kitchen instead of chicken, but now I know the difference. They'll cheer you on, and it'll make you feel so proud. You can also post about it online or join an English learning group to share your wins. I used to tell my best friend about my English progress, and she'd say, "You're doing awesome." It made every mistake feel worth it. Also, try celebrating by looking back at old mistakes and laughing. Find a sentence you wrote months ago with lots of errors and compare it to now. You'll see how far you've come, and it'll make you smile. Here's a joyful metaphor. Your mistakes are like stars in the sky of your English journey. Each one sparkles, showing you've tried, learned, and grown. At first, the sky might look dark with just a few stars, but the more you keep going, the more stars you add, until your sky is bright and beautiful. I love thinking of my mistakes as stars because it reminds me that every error is part of something amazing. Your sky is filling up with stars too, and it's gorgeous. Let's try a reflective challenge to celebrate your journey. In the comments below, share one mistake you're proud of. It could be a funny error or a hard one you learned from. Write, I'm proud of this mistake. Your mistake. For example, I'm proud of this mistake. I said I go yesterday, but now I say I went. Sharing it is like lighting a star in your sky, and it'll inspire others. I'll read every comment, and I can't wait to celebrate with you. I'm proud of my Finding Nemo mistakes because they helped me understand movies. Share yours, and let's make our skies shine together. Here's a vision to inspire you. Imagine looking back at your English journey a year from now. You're smiling at all the mistakes you made because they led you to speak, write, and understand English better than ever. You're proud of every step, from mixing up words to fixing grammar, because those mistakes made you who you are. That's a journey worth celebrating. I look back at my mistakes now and feel so grateful because they built my English skills. Your mistakes are building something beautiful too. As we wrap up this chapter, let's tie everything together. We started by seeing mistakes as teachers, then learned to be fearless, turn errors into lessons, build confidence, and keep going. Now, we're celebrating every mistake as a milestone on your path to success. Your journey is like a sky full of stars, and every mistake makes it brighter. Keep shining, keep learning, and keep celebrating. You're doing amazing. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you loved learning how your mistakes can lead to amazing success in English. If this video inspired you to embrace your mistakes, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you don't miss our weekly tips for English learners. It's super easy, and it'll keep you in the loop for more fun lessons. Also, give this video a big like if you're ready to make friends with your mistakes. It means the world to me. And share this video with a friend who needs a little motivation to keep going. Let's spread the joy of learning together. Now, I want to hear from you. In the comments below, tell me, what's one mistake you've made in English and how did it help you grow? Maybe you mixed up a word or said something funny. Share your story. I read every single comment and I can't wait to celebrate your journey with you. For example, I once said, "I'm so tired I need a coffee shop," instead of coffee. It was so funny, and it taught me to check my words. What's your story? Oh, and don't miss the video linked on screen right now. It's packed with more easy English tips to help you shine. Click it, watch it, and let's keep growing together. Thank you for being part of this amazing community. Your mistakes are making you a star, and I'm so proud of you. See you in the next video.